Good evening. What's going on, folks? Welcome to another Carolina Panthers Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the YouTube. The Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, wanted to get on here and just talk about a few things. A couple of things that have been going on. We're going to talk about Frank Reich taking back the play calling duties going forward. Going to talk about some Brian Burns. And just going to talk about a few other things Carolina Panthers related, just with my overall thoughts of how things are going and, as get ready for this weekend. FYI, I'm most likely going to miss the game this Sunday because I will be at a wedding. I'll be at a wedding, so I will end up DVRing the game. So I don't know when I will get a chance to watch it, but I'll at least DVR it because I will be out celebrating. But anyway, let's get started. So first I want to talk about Brian Burns. So, word on the street is that he will most likely end up getting franchised. That they put the franchise tag on him. Now, to be honest with you, I can't say that I'm surprised. I'm just really hoping that they're going to be able to re-sign him. I know that trading him was kind of one of the big buzzes, but I feel like that ship has sailed. That ship has been sailed, if you ask me. I think my only fear is, as I said previously, in the game against the Chicago Bears, where Brian Burns did not play, we didn't get a single sack. Period. We didn't get a single sack. Just keep that in mind. We did not get a single sack. We really didn't get any type of pass rush that entire game, if you really want to think about it. And this man leads the team in sacks with 5. Only 5 sacks. I know it's not a lot, but he leads the team in sacks. So, like I said, just something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind. My biggest fear is that as time passes and a deal is not done, he's probably going to ask for a higher price. I mean, after all, as I said, he's our sack leader, 2-time Pro Bowler. I understand he hasn't had his best season this year. But, as I had said before, we lose Brian Burns, it's going to affect the pass rush. And sure enough, the Chicago game. A game that I really felt like Carolina should have won. And we didn't get a single sack, and the pass rush was just terrible. That could be used as an anchor to up his asking price or whatever his agent might decide. So, the way I see it, I hope that they're able to re-sign and pay the man. And if they let him walk, if they can't get any sort of replacement along the way, it's going to really affect the team's pass rush for a lot longer. Because, I mean, I understand the argument is that, well, he hasn't been, the player that we normally see compared to, like, the last, couple of seasons. But at the same time, he's still our sack leader. You know what I mean? He's still our sack leader. So it's not like he hasn't been doing anything. It's very little. As a matter of fact, he also leads the defense in tackles for loss. So, I mean, I know it doesn't seem like much compared to what we're used to seeing, but we just saw what it was like for a game without Brian Burns. So, take that for what you will. Take that for what you will. But if you want to start imagining what things would be like without Brian Burns, we let another good player walk, it's not going to be a good look, y'all. I mean, the franchise already has a bad habit of not keeping great players. DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, Deonta Foreman, and you know how badly the running game's been struggling this season. So, hopefully the franchise tag, if they do decide to do that, will be prelude to them locking down a long-term deal for him and paying the guy. Because if not, it's not going to look too good. It's not going to look too good for Carolina. Also, Frank Reich. Apparently, Frank Reich has announced that he will be getting back the play calling duties and will be the main play caller going forward. Interesting. So after just 3 games, under Thomas Brown, he's taken back over play calling. To be honest, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Like, I really don't know how this is going to help do anything. I don't know if there's something that he, finally saw, or if you ask me, whatever Thomas Brown was doing just wasn't enough. So therefore, he's taken back play calling duties. And quite a time to do that as they get ready to go up against the Dallas Cowboys, who are a good team. And a team that Carolina hasn't beaten since Cam Newton, the Super Bowl run. So that was 2014, 2015. So not really having any sort of expectations of things changing. But Frank Reich wants to be the offensive guru that he claims to be, that really hasn't worked out for us so far this season. I mean, he can't even get a victory under his belt as the main play caller. After all, that Texans game, Thomas Brown was the play caller. Now,
we know that
like I said,
any day. That's why we always
I gotta be honest with y'all. Hold on a second. Okay. I gotta be honest with y'all. I really have no idea what this guy is thinking. But according to quotes from the press conference, he says, "This is not about Thomas. This is about me. It's about the team. I'm in the position because of years of being a successful offensive coordinator and play caller. We have 8 games left, and I just want to give my attention and everything I can do and everything I can bring to bring to bear the offense, to help the offense take the next step. I trust Thomas more than anybody, and he's helped me become a better coach and a better man. So this isn't about that. It's about the team. This is about us all playing the role that we think can help us these last 8 games." Not only that, one of the press, the reporters, was pretty much like, I mean, Frank, there's got to be some sort of reason that after 3 games you're taking back up the play calling. I mean, don't you feel that it's kind of just sudden and, have any sort of impact? And he really didn't have anything for him. He really didn't have an answer for that. He really didn't have an answer. So it's like, I mean, yeah. And apparently there was no consideration of handing off play calling to Jim Caldwell or Parks Frazier, but that Thomas Brown would continue to run the installation meetings and game planning. And him not thinking that it should reflect negatively on Thomas Brown with the play calling since he was put in a difficult situation. But I mean, the thing is, what was he hired for? Offensive coordinator. So it's like, typically the offensive coordinator's the play caller. So I mean, it just makes me wonder if that's not the case, which honestly I think is bogus, because Frank Reich had spoke that he was going to eventually hand the keys, the play calling, to Thomas Brown. It was only a matter of time. So I really don't get what Frank Reich is doing, other than to try to save his butt, to try to give one last ditch effort for these remaining 8 games to try to get some wins. That's all that I can really see this as. And I think deep down there was probably some sort of expectation that Thomas Brown was just going to flourish after taking over play calling, and, after winning 1 game, lost two straight. So, yeah. It just, the way it looks rather shady to me, if you ask me. But we'll see what happens. That's all I can say, is we'll see what happens. Before I continue on to the next subject, here's a quick word on the sponsor for this video, Game Beauty. Check them out. As you continue to enjoy content here at Blitzball Champ Gaming, be sure you take a moment to check out Game Beauty. Beauty inspired by gaming. Game Beauty brings to you video game related makeup and cosmetic products. You have products such as eyeshadow palettes, elemental pearl highlighters, eyeshadow brushes, liquid eyeliner pens by Akideris, and even non-makeup products like graphic tees. They even have special collaboration makeup kits such as this Persona 5 Heat Wave brush single, Metaverse bundle, and even a Phantom Thieves limited edition makeup collection. Also remember that Game Beauty provides international shipping of $60 or more. And if you use the promo code BlitzballChamp, all in caps, you can get 10% off of your order. So be sure to use that to your advantage. Now, back to your regularly scheduled video. Enjoy, and thank you. So, another thing I wanted to talk about that I didn't mention in the intro. Hearing a lot of folks mention about Ken Dorsey. So after the recent game between the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos, in which the Broncos won on a last-second field goal, Ken Dorsey was fired as offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, and the interim offensive coordinator ended up being Joe Brady, a name I know that we're all familiar with. Now, there are some folks that really are seriously considering the idea of bringing back Ken Dorsey. Now, Ken Dorsey used to be our quarterback's coach. Somebody that helped coach up Cam Newton, you know, the only quarterback that we've ever had that's won an MVP. So, did very well there. My thing is this, and not only that, apparently quarterback for the Bills, Josh Allen, was pretty pissed about the firing of Ken Dorsey. So, it really makes me wonder why such the quick idea of wanting to get Ken Dorsey back to Carolina. Why was he even fired in the first place from Buffalo? I mean, it's not like he was working with a trash quarterback. I mean, he had Josh Allen. You know, Josh Allen's a good quarterback. I know folks want to make their comparisons between Josh Allen and Cam Newton, which that's fine, but let's keep it real. Josh Allen has been doing a lot better than pretty much the last handful of quarterbacks the Carolina Panthers have had. I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, the last couple of seasons, Josh Allen has thrown for 35 or more touchdowns. You know, especially including the big surge he went on in 2020. Now, it is unfortunate that he's leading the league in interceptions right now. So, Bills have been going through some struggles. But at the same time, they definitely have the better quarterback. So, I'm just really, really curious as to exactly why they fired Ken Dorsey. Like, and then for us to, I guess, consider taking him back, it really makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Because when you think about it, I mean, could it not resemble sort of the same situation with Frank Reich? I mean, He wasn't cutting it in his last stint with Indianapolis. He got fired. The following season, we ended up getting Frank Reich, and look at how things have been going. So, but according to Sean McDermott, head coach of the Buffalo Bills, this was his quotes about the firing or the situation. He says, "There's been times when we have moved the ball and scored points, but those times, I believe, have become few and far between. I can point to the Miami game in week 4, which I felt very good about. Obviously, we scored on just about, if not every drive there. But since that Miami game, and really before that, there were some times when I didn't feel like we were moving the ball well enough and scoring points." So it's the whole thing, right? The whole body of work is just not off of 2 games or 4 games. It's the entire season at this point. Well, let's take a look. Well, let's take a look. So the Miami game, which of course they scored 48 points. I mean, they started off, let's see, Jets was a loss. They only scored 16 points. The Raiders, they scored 38 points in a win. Commanders, a win with 37 points. The Dolphins, a win with 48 points. Jaguars, a loss with 20 points. Giants, a win with 14 points. The Patriots, a loss with 25 points. Buccaneers, a win with 24 points. Bengals, a loss with 18 points. And the Broncos, a loss with 22 points. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, they're able to get a lot more points on the board more consistently than us, that's for sure. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, high-powered, high-scoring offenses is not always easy, especially when other teams' defenses step up, I mean, after all, this isn't Madden. I mean, I don't know. Does Sean McDermott have a point? Maybe. I guess they'll have to see how Joe Brady does as the interim offensive coordinator, but so far, Josh Allen was not a fan of this decision, and pretty much he was heartbroken about it. But going back to the idea of hiring Ken Dorsey, to be honest with y'all, I mean, maybe the idea of a quarterback's coach, maybe. I mean, after all, did a good job with Cam Newton. Maybe he could considerably do a better job with Bryce Young, because honestly, doesn't look like Josh McCown's the dude. Doesn't look like he's the dude. But my thing is this. Will bringing in Ken Dorsey really change anything? Because my thing is, I'm at this point where we need to start bringing in folks that's going to help really give us the best chance at winning these remaining 8 games. Otherwise, it won't be worth anything. And I'm not so sure that getting a Ken Dorsey is going to help that. I mean, after all, you look at this Panthers' remaining schedule. I mean, Cowboys, Titans, Buccaneers, Saints, Falcons, Packers, Jaguars, Buccaneers. I mean, every team on that schedule is a threat. I mean, got to keep it real. Every team on that remaining schedule is a threat. I'm sorry, after the loss to the Colts and the Bears, every team remaining on that schedule are a threat. So, like I said, I have nothing against Ken Dorsey. I just don't think it'll do anything. Bringing him in, I think it's too little too late. I don't think it's really going to make enough of an impact to turn the season around. I really don't. I feel like they need to be making moves like that. Otherwise, why even bother? I mean, we're already past 3 games after the bye. We're in week 11. So, or excuse me, no. We are in week 13, I believe. Or excuse me. Hold on. We're in week 11. I was right. Week 11. I was right. My bad. So, yeah, to be honest with y'all, unless this is the type of impacting move that's going to really help turn the season around, I don't think we should really make any more moves. That's just me. I could be wrong, but I could just really see them kind of riding this out. But and I know they're going to be getting some folks back. I know J.C. Horn's day-to-day, but supposedly he could be back. Ian Thomas as well. Brian Burns. So, I mean, we'll have to see what kind of things happen with the players and who can come back healthy ASAP and really contribute. But as far as Bryce Young, I still say let him finish the season. I mean, let him learn, let him experience the growing pains. Because, I mean, we've already got him this far into the season. So, I mean, we might as well let him finish out. And let him learn and let him try to improve and see what we have here. And then finally, I want to end this just giving my more deeper thoughts about just everything that's been going on just with this organization, with the decision making, and like how the fan base in general has been. It really makes me question something. Do we even deserve to win a Super Bowl? Really think about that, y'all. With how things have been and with how the fan base, not all, but with how some of the fan base has really been, and with the idea that things could probably get much worse before it ever gets better, I look at a lot of stuff that has happened, and honestly, it really makes me question, do we even deserve to win a Super Bowl? I mean, with the decision making, with the organization, whether it's stuff that, Matt Rule has done, Frank Reich, Scott Fitterer, David Tepper, especially David Tepper. Like, a lot of bad decisions have been made. A lot of bad trades. Had to take a lot of risk. And it hasn't been panning out. Not since their last playoff appearance, which was 2017. And you know what stands out to me the most as to why I question whether we even deserve a Super Bowl or not? I have to mention this. I have to mention this. The Cam Newton hate. With as much hate as Cam Newton has gotten from the fan base, not all, but a good amount of the fan base, for one, dressing a certain way during interviews or whatnot, which have absolutely nothing to do with football, and two, so many people getting on this guy for not jumping on a fumble. Despite being an MVP on a 15-1 record, so many folks want to instantly think about one play, and just bash this guy. If we got enough of the fan base that will bash somebody on a play, despite being an MVP and pretty much the best quarterback this franchise has had, what makes us think we deserve a Super Bowl? Because all it's going to do is get to that point. If we do win a Super Bowl, and we might not win another one for a long time, then it's going to be treated like it's nothing. Oh, but we only won one. It's like, dang. I just truly don't think this fan base would truly appreciate the organization finally winning a Super Bowl. Because if some of the other things that have happened that were great can't be fully appreciated, I don't see how winning a Super Bowl, enough folks are going to appreciate that. You know, especially when it comes down to how it might end up being won. I mean, whether it's one being, dominant and having kind of a similar record that we did before, the 15-1 and doing it, or, making the playoffs as a wild card, not the best team, the worst record of the playoff teams, and win it that way. It all counts the same. It all counts the same. But like I said, it's just a thought that I had. Like I said, I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong or whatnot, but I just feel like with a lot of the bashing of certain things from some of the fan base, it makes it hard for me to believe that if we were to ever win a Super Bowl, that they would truly appreciate it. I'm just saying. Take it for what you will. But that's pretty much all I got for this video. Don't forget to check out the link to Game Beauty in the description. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. How do y'all feel about Frank Reich taking back over play calling duties? What do y'all think about the idea that they may be leaning towards franchise tagging Brian Burns? How do you feel about Ken Dorsey? And would you want Carolina to consider bringing him back? Do the Carolina Panthers eventually, or do they ever deserve to win a Super Bowl at some point in time? Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Carolina Panthers talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. My name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed evening, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Peace out.